Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to this edition of SportsView on Monday, the 24th of April, 2023, 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time here in Ireland. Welcome, Joe Waters.
Hi, Pat. Hi, Derwynne.
And
Hi,
welcome,
Joe.
Derwynne Honan and myself.
Hi,
welcome to myself as well. The three of us now, before we start the programme, this is hot off the presses. We decided to put in a joint bid to manage Spurs, the three of us, Joe, Derwynne and myself, because we have no chance of being fired. They don't know who we are. So I think we have a great chance. But anyway, some of the soccer we'll start out. Well, we're going to cover a bit of soccer, a bit of golf, rugby, snooker, the J hurling season began. Derwynne, you'll be delighted to know.
Oh, good. I'll catch up with some of that.
Oh, yeah, there you are, yeah. And I meant to send you a few of the tapes, but I'll send them to you tonight. You can catch up tonight for next weekend.
I love that Irish cricket.
So Manchester the FA Cup will be going to Manchester. We know that now for definite after the weekend matches. Arsenal were held to a draw on Friday night by Southampton, and then there were wins for Fulham, Leicester, Liverpool, Newcastle, and West Ham. And my story of the weekend, I know about G, soccer story, was Wrexham. After 15 years toiling away down below, they're now up to the Football League, and they said they're looking for a quick promotion, but I think one step at a time. But anyway, it's incredible. And I was looking at it. I mean, they're 15 years, as I said, in the National League, and they won 42 games out of 45, which is an astonishing record as well, I think, lads, to have, no matter what league you're in, you know. And I think it's fantastic. Derwynne, was there much talk about him this morning on TalkSport?
There was quite a bit of talk about him, but the big talk was obviously, City and United.
Yeah.
Most of the talk on TalkSport today.
And what do you think of United's? Did you see United's 0-0?
I did. I watched all of it. I was on the edge of my seat, and all I can say is beware the strides of March. I've been sorry, March.
And Joe, did you manage to see many of the matches?
I did, yeah. Yeah, I watched them all. It was,
you did?
Yeah. Brighton, for some reason, just didn't have their A game on Sunday. I mean, they did not play like they normally played. They didn't seem to be on the front foot. They were lacking a little bit. They just weren't positive enough, and to be honest, I mean, I think that if they had, they could have won that game quite handily.
Well,
because I think United were there for the taking in that one.
Well, I must admit, I went away from the match. We went to the pictures instead, a couple of us. We went to see the Pope's exorcist. Maybe we were trying to exorcist the football, I don't know. But anyway.
Are we going to do this show going to turn into like film night or whatever it was? Harry Norton now, is it? We're gonna have film reviews, are we?
We'll try and one at the end, but just shocking. I mean, Spurs have got rid of a manager now again, and of the assistant temporary manager. I mean, where is that club going? I know we don't want to be denigrating any club, but really, it's there out in the open. They're fast becoming the second Chelsea, the second team in London. Chelsea and Spurs now seem to be in rag order, Joe.
Yeah. And I mean, to be honest, since Pochettino left there, they've been, in my opinion, going downhill. And I don't know whether it's Daniel Levy to blame for that or what have you, but Spurs never seem to want to go and buy top class players.
Yeah.
They always seem to be looking for a bargain. And it just didn't work out for him. I mean, the last time when they sold Gareth Bale to Real Madrid, I mean, they brought something like 7 or 11 players in with the money that they got for him, and there's not one of those players at the club anymore.
Well, the people who are assessing players at the club seem to don't seem to have a clue, Derwyn. And obviously, Newcastle are a decent team. They have an authentic English manager, which is good to see, in Eddie Howe. A steady Eddie. Eddie seems to have the nous when it comes to managing players. I don't mean, and I think you can see that reflected on not the 6-1 performance, but they've been steadily improving, and so much so now that I think European football is quite on the agenda, Darwin, for them this year, is it?
I would have thought so. Joe, you know more about this side of it, but if you've been a player like Eddie Howe has been a player, you'll understand the mentality of the dressing room better than someone who's not been a player.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's my own feeling about it. But if Newcastle get the funding, to me, like I said last week, I think there'll be the likes of United and the likes of Liverpool could get left behind by a little breakaway group, whether that's 2, 3, whether that's, City and Newcastle. They could get left behind with someone coming in with investment. They could get instead of the big 4 or big 6. I think 6 is flattering Tottenham to include them in that. But I think the big 4 could certainly split and become 2 very big and 2 normal big.
Yeah, you could be right, because at the moment Newcastle are in 3rd place with they have 31 games played and they have 59 points. Liverpool are in 7th place with the same amount of games, 31, with 50 points. 9 points is a big gap with 6 or 7 matches left. It's a big gap to close.
It's a huge gap, and you're also looking at Chelsea here. Chelsea are adrift.
Yeah.
And they don't look like they have any plan to fix this. You look at at least with United have a plan. They have a fella there that's in charge, that knows what he needs, is not afraid to make decisions. He's going to unload a few guys from the payroll at the end of the season.
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
Just going to have to move on.
De Gea and Maguire, and I'd get rid of Bruno Fernandes as well. He's useless.
It's so ridiculous. What De Gea did to Harry Maguire in that game in Spain.
Yeah.
When he played him a ball that was absolutely, he had no business playing him the ball.
No.
There were 3 Valencia players. Was it Valencia that played?
Seville.
So there was 3 Sevilla players, and they had it set up perfectly. They had one on the right, one on the left, and normally what happens here is when people set up to play out the back, it's the 2 centre backs that slide out wide, right? And then the 2 full backs go up the touchline.
Yeah.
And the defensive midfield player is the one that comes in the middle normally to try and get the ball, to play the ball from there. But they have Harry Maguire in there. And the minute the ball gets played to Harry Maguire, the 3 guys all converged on him. And he had nowhere to go with it. And he had nowhere to pass it out to the wing, because he really didn't know what was there. And eventually he ends up and it gets taken off of him, or it gets blocked by. But it was just an absolutely stupid decision by David De Gea to give him the ball in that position.
He could have kicked it out for a corner kick.
And he could have put it over the halfway line.
Yeah.
He's facing the 90 yards up the field, that he can put the ball anywhere up there instead of dropping somebody in it. So, and then don't get me going with that 3rd goal. What he's doing with that one is just beyond me. I have no idea what's going through his mind at that stage. No idea. And this is a guy that a couple of weeks ago is refusing to take a pay cut.
Yeah.
And he's made more mistakes than any other goalkeeper with his feet this year.
It was interesting yesterday, because every time the ball went back to De Gea, he just hoofed it, went like long ball.
that was the instructions he got for yesterday.
Yeah, you could see
Do
that.
not mess with the ball.
Yeah,
Put it up the
Put
field.
it out there. Put it in row Z, whatever. Get rid
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
And I personally don't understand all this. And again, you know, Joe, you're the expert. Why these goalkeepers want to palm it away rather than hold on to it and catch it is I don't get it. It's like you're a goalkeeper, you're allowed to catch it.
Yeah.
You don't have to palm it away. And you watch any Premier League match over the weekend, and the amount of goals that I'd love to work the stat out of how many goals are scored when the keeper has palmed it rather than holding on to it.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I never saw Peter Shilton hardly ever do that. If he did do it, he was going round the side of the post for a corner.
Or up over, yeah.
Ray Clements never did that. Pat Jennings never did.
No.
Obviously, I'm dating myself here.
Right.
Yeah.
But, you know, Jimmy Rimmer never did it for United when he was in there. Alex Stepney never did it. And you watch all of these Premier League teams, the ball goes across the goalkeeper and they palm it out rather than actually hold on to it. Surely if you can put both hands on the ball and palm it, can't you just hold on to it?
Yeah, I mean, but that's the way that those are techniques that they're teaching now. You know, get the ball away from in front of the goals. So put a strong hand on it and just help it away from the goals.
But if you watch Match of the Day, and the amount of times it gets palmed back into the centre of that box, and players come in and try and rifle it, or they score, or they just, you know, knock it over the post, whatever.
Yeah.
But the amount of times they do it, and, you know, like I just said there, I go back to thinking about it when I was younger.
Yeah.
I never even like, I mean, what was his name? Harvey. I mean, he was nicknamed Dracula, wasn't he? Because he didn't like crosses.
Or was that Gary Sprague?
No, it was Harvey, wasn't it?
Was it David? Well,
David
Sprague
Harvey?
was at least before Harvey. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I
So that
never get it. I never.
Yeah.
I think I just don't get it.
Yeah.
I see it way too often.
As you're talking about Man United, Derwynne, you think I'm not an expert in soccer. I follow it because I love it, but I wouldn't be an expert. Looking at Man United just for a few minutes, I think there's at least five, if not six players required for the first team.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you went from the back, you're going to go with De Gea is probably on thin ice. Has to be, surely. Then go across that back four. Maguire's Lindehoff. Even though I actually think Lindehoff is a bit better than what he gets a bit of a slating.
I agree with you on that.
I think he gets bad press because I think he's half the time he's had one eye on Maguire.
I know that.
Cover his ass, to be honest.
Yeah. I agree with that. I watched I've watched him now play with Harry Maguire a number of times, and he, you know, I know it's so tough to pick on Harry Maguire all the time because it's not his fault. He did not pay 80 million for himself. Somebody else did. They thought that. But, you know, Harry Maguire just is not a modern day centre half. He's not a modern day centre back. He's not mobile enough for it. He's not good enough on the ball for it. And he just gets himself caught in so many poor positions that it doesn't help him. But if you put Martinez next to Lindelof, you would see Lindelof, I think, is a different player.
Yeah,
I would agree with that because, I mean, if you're beside someone who you know is prone to making mistakes, you're not going to be relaxed and you're not going to be able to express yourself fully. You're going to be staying beside that player because of that. Psychologically, it's a natural human thing to do.
Yeah.
So I think United
they
need two defenders. They need a complete midfield.
I wouldn't say they need a complete midfielder. I think what they do need is they need some more. I mean, you look at David De Gea. If they want to play out at the back, he has to go.
Yeah.
You know, if that is not his game. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Another one that is
no
not
good.
does not cut the mustard. He's not a United player. He's not that kind of player.
No.
You have Harry Maguire. They need another top class centre back as in a rotation that they can get into. I mean, you even look at Sunday's game when Luke Shaw went and played centre back next to Lindelof. Lindelof looked a different player.
Yeah.
You know,
He did. In fairness,
you had that. You know, Diego Dallo, I'm not sure about him. I think the jury's still out on him at the minute. To me, he had a shocker in Spain the other night, giving the ball away and what have you. But then the whole team had a shocker. So it's not fair to judge him like that.
no.
I think they need another. They have Casemiro and they have Bruno Fernandes. I don't think Bruno Fernandes is a right-sided player. I mean, on the wing where they're trying to play him, sometimes he is an inside midfield player that should be able to roam and get on the ball wherever he can get on it. And they should be able to take advantage of doing that.
Right.
I think Eriksen does a good job, but I don't think Sabitzer is the answer to being the one that would spell him. Because I think that you need another guy that's going to be able to come in for either Fernandes and or the other guy there. So
Fred's not.
Fred's not. Fred's gone as well. He has to go.
And Casemiro.
Casemiro's fine.
I only have one issue with Casemiro, is he does way too many jumping in for tackles.
He dives in a lot.
He could stay on his feet longer in some of those situations because he goes sliding in and the way they're playing the game now is that anytime you slide in from behind, you're going to get booked or you're certainly going to give a foul away.
Oh yeah.
And he's picking up yellow cards like confetti.
He is, yeah.
And so now you need somebody to cover him.
Yeah,
and you know,
I think he needs to be reined in a bit.
Yeah,
I don't think I think it's wrong to lose his aggression side of it, but I think he needs to understand that sometimes just holding the player up rather than sliding in does more good.
And looking forward this week, we have Man City and Arsenal. Wednesday night, is it?
Yeah,
Wednesday night. Now, Derwynne, how do you see that going?
City all day long.
Joe?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, City on Saturday won in the canter. I mean, they didn't even break sweat.
No.
You know, they were that good. And he got all these young players in. He got them all playing time. So now, and he gave the other guys, he was able to rest them and get them, fresh for Wednesday. Arsenal, I think, are having a right wobble at the minute, and I think that this could end up being pretty bad for them.
Wednesday night?
Yes.
Well, I saw something. I saw the whole match Friday night.
Yes.
With Arsenal and Southampton.
Yeah.
I know they were playing at home, but I must say, I mean, there's huge pressure on them. There's no doubt about that. It's an awful lot of those players were never in that position that team is in now. You know what I mean? The expectation to win the league, but they went 3-1 down. I know they were playing at home, and Southampton played very well, I must admit. But Arsenal, I saw something in Arsenal Friday night. I know they didn't win the match, but to me, they got a moral victory Friday night. And I really think, looking at them, I think they may get a draw against City is the best I could give them on Wednesday night there when you shake your head.
They got lucky the other night because they were playing Southampton. I think Southampton, and it's only my opinion, they ran out of steam.
Yeah.
They did?
Yeah. To me, they just went suddenly defensive. There was no getting out of their own box. And as much as you want to hoof it away, you're only hoofing it to the halfway line.
Yeah.
And they're coming back at you. And I think they got lucky. I think Arsenal got really lucky. If that was 3-1 to City against Arsenal on Wednesday night, do you think Arsenal get back in the game?
No.
I wouldn't put money on it. No, I wouldn't put money on it.
I wouldn't put a penny on it because
I think that Arsenal's defense, Gabriel, I think and Rob Holding, I think they can be taken. I think they can, and they're starting to, especially Gabriel, is starting to make mistakes that are in bad areas in the field, like the penalty he gave away against West Ham, things like that, going to ground when he shouldn't be really. And I think that, they've got to play against Haaland, and that is a challenge in itself. And then you've got everything else going on around. I mean, how do you say to Riyad Mahrez, Riyad, you had a great game on Saturday in the semi-final of the Cup. I'm leaving you on the bench tonight. Guy scores a hat-trick, and Jack Grealish will come in, and Bernardo Silva will play probably in the two wide positions, and Mahrez will be sitting. So it's they just have so much.
They have two teams. They have two decent teams.
They do.
But if you think about it on Wednesday night, you've got Arsenal under all this pressure, which they undoubtedly are under pressure because everybody's waiting for them to lose it. Right? City can win it, Arsenal can lose it, the title. That's how the outlook is, isn't it?
Yeah.
You put Grealish running at that back four. You put Silva running at that back four, and then you put Walker overlapping, and then you've got Gundogan and I can't say his name.
Gundogan,
and then you've got De Bruyne, just passing the ball around for fun. So two things are going to happen. Arsenal won't have enough of the ball to start with because City just pass it around all day long, can't they?
They do, yeah.
And most of that game is going to be played in Arsenal's half. There's no doubt about that.
I mean, I'd like to see Arsenal do well, to be honest, but you're looking at the same thing here, as United when they were in their pomp under Sir Alex. United always believed, they had a total belief that they could run off 20 wins in a row. It was just part of their psyche. And City are the same way.
Yeah,
they believe that they can do that.
As we were saying about Wednesday night, on paper, they don't have a chance, Arsenal. But as Brian Clough said, we don't play football on paper.
That's exactly right. But I mean, you play a game, and they have very good players. I mean, that what they've done, and this is what you got to look back on as well. People are at the moment on about Liverpool and trying to pick on Klopp and what he did there. But what Liverpool did for 3 years, chasing City down and keeping them honest in the league, was absolutely phenomenal. There was no other team able to do it.
True.
And if they hadn't done it, Liverpool, City would have won the league by about 10 or 12 points.
But Joe, Saka and Odegaard are two decent players.
They're very good players. They have some very good
players.
Yeah. The problem is going to be can they defend? I mean, again, you're looking at Aaron Ramsdale. What was he doing on Friday night, playing that ball up the middle of the field?
Yeah.
No business. He hadn't made a mistake like that ever, I don't think.
Yeah.
And now the pressure is on, and it starts going a little bit, and he makes a howler in the first minute or so.
We'll be here next Wednesday night, either saying that Arsenal are 8 points ahead, or they're just 2 points ahead. We look forward to that on Wednesday. SportsView is the program here on learnmedia.tv. Press the red button on the right-hand side to subscribe to our channel. Tell all your friends about us. We'll just have a brief look, Derwynne. Did you see much golf over the weekend?
No, I didn't see any.
Well, the first ladies what do I call it?
Major?
Oh God. Huh?
Major?
The First Ladies Major was played over the weekend. I saw a good lot of it, and she won. Lila Vu is her name. That's for people who don't know who she is. There they are. There's a picture over there. Well, no, that's not Lila Vu. I beg your pardon. Lila Vu won it.
Should thank you for that one, Pat.
I know she tapped me for that. One,
That's in the Christmas bloopers, isn't it?
and she won in the playoff with Yin, and Nelly Corda was in third place, and she won $765,000 for her efforts. And our own Leona Maguire finished on even par. She had a shocker 2 middle rounds, but she made the cut, and she finished on level par in 23rd place, and she won $50,000 for her day's work. And Derwynne, you probably know this chap, Lucas Herbert.
Yeah, good guy.
He won over in Japan. He won $310,000 for his thing, and Cockrell was the runners-up, and Hill was in third place. But he won that, and it's a beautiful, fantastic trophy, lads. You know, it's the most unusual trophy I ever saw, I must say. You know, but
he's a
very good win for him. And of course, then we had the sold-out Live Golf. 3 rounds. I saw most of it on online, and a lot of it online, not most of it, a lot of it. And Taylor Gooch won $4 million for winning it. Lahiri from Indy was runner-up, $2.25 million. Eye-watering stuff, lads. Patrick Reed and Cam Smith were next. They both won $1 million each. I know I'm laughing at it. Graham McDowell, who finished in 36th place, won 150 grand for finishing 36th. It's eye-watering money. I'm not making any judgment. It's eye-watering money. I can see why people are. But the format, the money, or the money is important, obviously. The format is fun. Mickelson finished high up. I didn't take a listen. They all held their form. Most of those guys that played in the Masters, in those golf tournaments. That was held. So
Australia have already, the Australian Tourist Board have already committed to Norman, saying that they want more live events in Australia because the US Tour ignore them, the European Tour ignore them, and Australian golfers are starved of golf events.
A big time golf.
Yeah. So Live have basically opened up Australia for Live. Now, I'll have a bet with you all now. By the end of this year, the US PGA Tour will announce an event in Australia.
Yeah.
Well, I think they'll announce it very soon, you know?
Yeah.
And obviously there's talks going on at the moment as well between Live Golf and a possibility of a ladies tour, you know, as well, which would be fantastic because, as you said, it's limited enough for the ladies. But I like watching the ladies, and I mean that golf-wise, in case anybody is getting worried about myself. I like watching the ladies golf because there's less angst in it, you know. It's a whole different game, as you know, Derwynne, yourself, you know. But I have my ticket got for the Irish Ladies Open Golf Championship in Jamolan Castle in September. It's the second year of it there. The Resurrections resurrected last year, and it was huge. Just sold out last year. They have made an extra, I think, 15,000 tickets or 10,000 tickets available. So, and they have increased all the hospitality and all of that goes with it. But it's a huge. The event is getting bigger. All they need is a few more names. That's the Irish Ladies in September. Probably see you, Derwynne, for that, will we?
Well, I might be tempted over.
Yeah. Are you? By the way, are you planning on going to the Live Golf in the Centurion Club?
Centurion, yeah, I'll go to that.
Yeah, I'm thinking of going over for probably the Friday and Saturday and come back on Sunday. You know, myself, the tickets are reasonable.
You should be able to apply to Live for media passes.
I could, yeah. I might do that, you know. Anyway, that's Shinshgale, as they say here. That's our golf. And Rugby Union, the Women's Six Nations were finished over the weekend. No, didn't. Second last game. And France steamrolled Wales 39-14. England beat Ireland 48-0, and Ireland, in all fairness to them, they were very lucky to get nil, as they say. And Scotland beat Italy 29-21. But really, we're not going to say any more about the Women's Six Nations rugby. I think rugby is not a game that suits ladies, in my opinion. That's only my personal opinion now, lads. You know?
I think the England team need to have a handicap. They should only play with 12 women.
Yeah.
They're a professional outfit, aren't they, compared to the other ladies?
Our own, when I say our own, Ronan O'Gara, La Rochelle had a cracking win against Clermont Auvergne, 26-13. So he's going. They're in a very tight. They're in a very tight position on the table. I don't know what it is. I forgot to write it down, but they're doing very well in top 14, and he seems to be settling down. I forgot to mention in soccer, my son's team. They were pipped for the league title by 1 point.
Oh, yeah.
So they were runners-up. Bunratty, Cratloe, well done, lads. And they're promoted to Division 1 for next season. That's in junior soccer in Clare. Well done, guys. And he can take a rest now for the next month or two. And must be serious recruiting going on, you know. You never know. He could send your CVs to Wrexham. Or maybe to Spurs, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they might get a look in Spurs, you know. Ronnie O'Sullivan, did you see any snooker? Ronnie O'Sullivan is on track for the 8th world title. He's playing Luca Bracel tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. our time. It's beginning in the quarterfinal. So it's astonishing. He beat the Iranian player 13-2, you know.
I thought it was really nice of Ronnie, the way he
handled it very well.
At the end, yeah. You know, it wasn't just a shake of the hand and walk away, because there's been a lot of aggro between those two.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Your Iranian man's been giving it a bit too much gobbing off, and
he is, yeah.
I can't imagine why you'd want to gob off before you play Ronnie O'Sullivan.
I
get that.
You know,
I mean, O'Sullivan could beat him left-handed.
I wonder why you gob off before you play anybody at anything, because you're only asking for trouble.
Yeah,
that's right.
If you were Ronnie O'Sullivan gobbing off, like Phil Taylor could gob off against the darts players, couldn't he? But
yeah,
when you're going to go up against Ronnie O'Sullivan, why would you want to slag the guy off?
Like he needs any more motivation.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be like, you can't get your cue out of the case, Ronnie. You've got to play with the case. I reckon he'd still beat him. But, I mean, it's like, why did you do that? That's a bit like us three having a running race with Usain Bolt and saying, I think I'm going to beat you, mate.
Yeah.
I mean, really?
It's not good karma, as they say. But Ronnie, if he wins tomorrow, it'll be his 200th victory in the World Championship. His 200th match he's won it in the World Championship. It's the longevity of the man has to be admired, and huge fans for him. And I think when you look at Ronnie's background and when you look at his life, when you look at the tests and troubles and that prevailed in his personal life as well, family life, when he was growing up, when you look at that and look at him today, I think it's an astonishing achievement for him to be in the sport for so long. It's an individual thing, it's a head thing in many cases, and the tests he had to face throughout his career, you know, has been quite good, quite astonishing in my book. You know, he's astonishing man.
I've been lucky enough to play golf with him.
Yeah,
and he is the most unassuming bloke away from snooker you've ever heard. I mean, he is so down to earth and normal. And he was, you know, we've played twice, and he's been really nice.
And he's an Essex boy, is he?
He's an Essex boy, you know, and we all know what his dad's been up to in the past and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And you know, he's just away. I don't know if you've ever seen any of the TV programs he's done.
I did.
Again, he comes across normal in a really nice way with those TV programs. And when he goes around a golf course, all he wants to do is ask questions about golf and learn how to do this or chip or, you know, whatever. How do you do this? But he's not flashy. He's not like that at all.
Yeah. He's a good guy. You don't know Lucas Herbert, do you?
Not really.
No, any of those guys at all. But sports user program here on learnmedia.tv. You're with Derwynne, Joe, and myself, as usual. When I tell all your friends about us, press the red button to subscribe to our channel, and we appreciate it very much. Getting back to Wrexham, lads, getting back to soccer, Wrexham. Now, what does it mean? Derwynne, you could tell us, geography, I didn't bother looking. Where is Wrexham situated?
Just outside of Liverpool. Well, I think Liverpool's the nearest big city to them, aren't they?
Is it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Well, it'd be Liverpool or
Are they-
Manchester.
Are they still playing at the
because
racecourse ground?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Joe, did you play in the racecourse ground?
I did. Played there a few times.
Yeah. And what would be the capacity of that place? Would it be 10 or 12 or 15,000?
You know, I was trying to think about it this morning. Of course, back in my day, you had standing and what have you.
Yeah.
So that increased the crowd.
It
No
did.
end, you know. So, I mean, like Grimsby now has a capacity of 8,000. When I played, it was 22,000 because of all the standing around it. So now that it's all seater, it's 8,000, and about 2,000 of those seats, 1,500 of them, are not very good because you have pylons in the way and what have you, that you don't get a good sight line on it. But the racecourse ground was a great ground. I remember playing there one day. We'd been to Spain for a mid-season break, and when we got back, we had fog. It was fog. England was like totally fogged over.
Oh, yeah.
We managed to land, so we went straight from the airport to Wrexham for the game. And we're playing the game, and you could not see from one 18-yard box to the other.
Wow.
Go away,
Right.
and the game was going on.
The game is going on, but as long as the referee can see both goals from the halfway line, then it's legal to go on. So we're defending a corner, and we clear it, and we send our left winger Bobby Cumming on. We send him free. Well, he takes off, and Bobby was like Billy Wiz. That's how quick he was. He just took off, and we lost him. We lost him in the fog. And then all of a sudden we hear a cheer, and we don't know what's going on. And he comes back out of the fog, and he's got his hands in the air. He went and scored. So we're still playing catch up from the edge of the 18 to get up to him. He's gone.
They got
One
Joe.
of the best goals you never saw.
I'm telling you. But yeah, I mean, Wrexham used to have some great players. I mean, they had Arfin Griffiths, they had Mickey Thomas started there.
Man U. Mickey Thomas at Man U.
Yeah, he started at Wrexham. They also had, I think they had Dixie McNeil there for a while, didn't they? Did they have Dixie McNeil there? They had a great goal scorer there. And a lot of the Welsh team played for Wrexham. So they were a good team. Remember playing against them in the second division. And unfortunately, they got relegated that year. I think they got relegated the same year that Bristol City got relegated.
All right.
Yeah, Bristol City went into the first division, and they signed them all to first division contracts, and then the bottom fell out of the world, and they got relegated from the first division, got relegated from the second division, and the guys are all still on first division money. So that was Bristol City went a little bit, Wrexham went a little bit at the time as well. They went they struggled a bit afterwards. So it's a great club. They have great support.
Now, Looking at the Premiership, which is there's between 6 and 8 games left, depending on the team. Some teams have 30 games played, some teams have 32. Are we still going with the top 4 be Man City and Arsenal? We'll assume they'll take 2 of the places. And then the other 2 places are between Newcastle, Man U, Spurs. You couldn't make a case for anyone else, could you?
I don't think so. I mean, to be honest, I find it very hard right now to say that Spurs are going to finish in the top 4.
Yeah.
Just what's happened. And I mean, I don't see. I mean, it'll be United or Newcastle will be 3rd or 4th. I think. I really don't see anybody. The only one that could upset that, in my opinion, would be Brighton.
What about Liverpool?
I think that it's just too big an ask for Liverpool. They left it a little bit too late. They didn't get enough results early on. I mean, they're doing well now, but I don't see them. But I can tell you this, which I could see Liverpool catching Spurs and knocking them out of the Europa League.
Yeah.
I can see that happening.
Do you think that Klopp will be there next season, Derwynne, with Liverpool?
Yeah, I think he's got enough credit built up for maybe another 2 seasons before, if it carries on the way it is. I think he's 2 years away. Might be calling it a day then.
Right. So you think his job is safe enough,
Well, I think he's definitely safe for next season. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, let's be honest. He's been there for what, 7 years now?
Yeah, I think so.
Like 7 years. Yeah. So they've won the league, they've won the European Cup, they've lost in the European Cup final, they've won the FA Cup, they've won the League Cup. They've finished second on a record number of points on a couple of occasions. And if there was no other team like Man City around, then you'd be talking about 3 league titles in a short period of time. So, I mean, nobody, and I defy anybody to tell me this, that anybody saw the demise of some of the players that Liverpool had so quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, Fabinho he's lost. I mean, whatever's happened to him, I don't know. But I mean, the guy is only 29 years of age, nearly 30. He should be in his prime now.
He should be.
Jordan Henderson is the same. He's 32. Virgil van Dijk is 31. These are all guys that should be in their prime at this moment in time. So whether the amount of hard work and the amount of pressure that they were under to chase City down and all the things, because I mean, let's be honest, they were playing in nearly all. I mean, they could have won all 4 last year.
They could have. And going down the other way, I presume Southampton and Notts Forest, I think, would be 2 of the 3 to go down, lads, I'd say, Everton are in serious danger of going down.
Yes, they are. There's some huge games coming up. Everton play Leicester, I think, either this week or next week.
Yeah.
Leicester play Leeds as well.
Yeah.
So, those are 2 huge games right there. And then, Everton and Leeds have got a nightmare running. They really have. And
it could be Southampton, Forest, and Everton to go down. We're only speculating, obviously.
Yeah. To be fair, Southampton or Forest played really well at Anfield.
They did.
They were very unfortunate. There, they had some good chances that they didn't put away.
That's true. That's very true.
So they still have a little bit about them, I think. I wouldn't, although they're running. I mean, all the all the ones that are the big clubs that you're looking at, the Forest, you're looking at Leicester, you're looking at Everton, Leeds, they all have tough run-ins.
They have.
They're all playing some of the top clubs. You know, they've either got Man City or Liverpool or Newcastle or United. You know, so they've got some really, really tough ones.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to go down to the last day.
So we think, I suppose, I mean, it'll be very challenging next season. I know the season isn't over yet, for the likes of clubs like Spurs and Chelsea are in serious trouble, I think. Man United, less so than what I thought they would be, but they still need a huge amount of input, Derwynne, that Man United for next season. They need a huge input of players.
Well, I think they need to sort out, you know, is that club really up for sale or not? I think that needs to be resolved.
Yeah.
Because I think Ineos guy's pulled out, hasn't he?
Yeah. So it's I think that's some, but you know, it's unfair really to the Glazers to be talking about. I mean, they have put so much money into that club. Now they've also taken money out of it, right? But there's only Chelsea and City, I think, that have spent more money than them.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not that they're not supporting the club. It's just that the players that they've bought have not been the quality that's needed to run down Man City.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you're chasing, and you know they need a centre forward. I mean, that's as plain as the nose on anybody's face. They need a centre forward. They need a bit more from Anthony, who is getting better. They need more from Jadon Sancho. They need more from Anthony Elanga. I mean, when he gets back from injury, they've got some young guys coming through, but they need a couple of experienced guys. They need a top class midfield player. I mean, they need
Martial.
You know who? Martial
Martial's
needs to go.
great.
He's got to go. I mean, I watched him now in 2 games, and his body language just tells you everything. When he loses the ball, it's like
he's getting plenty of money.
Yeah, he is getting plenty of money.
And I know the next, I have to go to this segment next, or I'll be killed. And especially for Derwynne, the Lee McCarthy Cup began, the premier sporting event in this country for the All-Ireland hurling. It began over the weekend. It's a round robin boat in Leinster, Munster, where most of the hurling teams are, you know. And Limerick are the holders. Limerick are going for a record 4 in a row All-Ireland titles. It has only been achieved twice ever. Once by Cork and secondly by Kilkenny. Cork did it in 1941, 1942, 1943 and 1944. And Kilkenny did it in 06, 07, 08 and 09. But the Cork one is interesting, and I would say that, wouldn't I? Jack Lynch, who was a Taoiseach, as you know, Joe Waters.
Yeah.
Jack Lynch was a dual player. He played in the Cork hurling team and the Cork football team. So he won All-Ireland medals in hurling in 41, 42, 43, 44. He won an All-Ireland football medal in 45, and he won a hurling medal again in 46. He's one of the few players to win 6 All-Ireland medals in a row. Just a bit of trivia. But Limerick were put to the pin of their collar for their win. They won by 2 points against Waterford. They had a man sent off, Garrod Hegarty, who, as he said himself, plays on the edge, but you can't be playing on the edge all the time because it will catch up with you. I'm not passing any judgment on the man, but he's playing long enough to know what you can get away with and what you cannot get away with. And Clare, here where I live myself, they put up a good show against Tipperary. They were beaten by 5-22 to 3-23. So that's 53 scores in 70 minutes, lads. There you are now. You'll be put to the pin.
That was a shootout, wasn't it?
It was incredible. Packed
They
house.
were flying all over the place.
17,500 packed into Cusick Park up in Ennis. And a fabulous day for it. But disappointment. I was speaking to Brian Lowe and myself. I didn't interview him yet. I was speaking to him. on Friday morning, and he said, "I'll see you after the match," but I didn't bother the man because after being beaten, it was very. Kilkenny beat Westmeath, and Antrim hurlers drew with Dublin in the championship, which is a good fill-up for Antrim. So there's the hurling. You can catch up on all those online. They're all up on YouTube, all those matches, lads. We've come to the end of another. So a final thought on Wednesday night. Is the Premiership title going to be decided on Wednesday night?
No.
Derwynne?
I mean, there's too many games to go. You still have 6 or 7 games to go, but it can go a long way to being decided.
No.
And,
I
to
think
be honest,
massive momentum swing coming on Wednesday.
yes.
If
The potential of it.
If Arsenal win on Wednesday night, they'd have to be in pole position to win the Premiership.
Well, what would they be? They'd be 8 points ahead of City at that stage.
They'd be, wait till I get it here. They'd be 8 points ahead of City with 2 games in hand.
Right. So still, I mean, again, you're looking at that, City have to win the 2 games, but Arsenal still have to win out because the chance of City winning out are good.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be bet against them.
So, Derwynne, you're calling the Premiership. So, Derwynne, you're calling the Premiership for Man City, and you're calling for Man City, Joe, are you?
I can't believe I'm saying yes.
I think that if Arsenal don't win on Wednesday, I think that they're going to find it very, very difficult. Very difficult.
Well,
to do that, because I mean, you'd be looking at it. There'll be 2 points in it with 2 games in hand.
Yeah,
that doesn't give Arsenal any margin of error.
No. Whereas if they win, it will.
Yes,
True.
it will. I mean, that is the biggest hope.
Arsenal can't afford to draw any matches from here on in.
Right.
They can't. They can't be giving Man City 2 points 2 or 3 times, can they?
No. I mean, they've already done it, right? I mean, the last 3 games they've given them 6 points. Really, So, I mean, realistically, you're talking about 6 points there. That's 11 points. With the 5 that they're in front of them now, that would be, you'd probably be looking at that stage and saying this thing is it's probably all over. Even though they got 2 games in hand, 11 points is a hell of a lot of.
By the way, guys, you cannot back Wrexham next season to win League 2.
Yeah,
believe it or not, you cannot back them. And
no,
they've only been promoted.
Yeah, I mean, people don't really realize that non-league is a very, very difficult place to get out of.
Yeah, 45 matches. It is astonishing, lads. 42.
It is, and I mean, Wrexham are built for the higher leagues. That's the quality of player that they've got.
Good.
So I can see them going through the 4th division next year. I can see them doing that and going on. I could see them getting in the next 3 years. I could see them making it to the championship.
Yeah, that'd be good. We're all Wrexham fans. We're all soccer fans. From Joe Waters, from Derwynne Honan, from Joe Waters in Seattle, from Derwynne in London, myself here in good old Banner County, from another edition of SportsView.
One thing before we go, I want to see Pat go and play that piano.
Oh yeah, that's just the backdrop I have. I just wanted to make a show if there's any sports fans looking that we do move in salubrious surroundings. Anyway, from this edition of SportsView, lads, till we meet again. Take care.
Take care, lads.
Good night.
All right.
Good luck.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Yeah.